All right, so this is Mental Meta, where we're going to be talking about how to use pattern recognition to assist in your abilities to improve at the game. If you have limited time or if you have plenty of time, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to assume that everybody has been writing down their notes every time they die, what happened that caused them to die in a game, obviously, to get eliminated in Fortnite, whether it be Zone Wars, whether it be BR, 1v1s, anything caused you to be eliminated in a competitive setting. Write down why you were eliminated. Just the facts. No emotions, just the facts. So I'm going to assume that you've been doing that, and I'm going to sort of give you a breakdown of how we're going to use this information along the lines of improvement. So get into your creative. We'll take a look at what I have. These are some notes from the 20th, so that's 5 days ago. And what I wrote down are, I guess I was eliminated 5 times. What I wrote down was bad right-hand peeks. The next one I wrote was didn't trap or shoot the patter. The number 3 is edited a window into an AR without right-hand peek. Number 4 is missed the grappler shot. Number 5 is didn't cover top. So essentially what I'm reading here is there's 2 things. The main thing is I'm not properly respecting the right-hand peek rule. I'm not editing thoughtfully, and I'm not getting behind cover with enough time. So when I say a bad right-hand peek, I mean I may have the right edit, but I might be right here. How good is it going to be if there's a player in my crosshairs that could just shoot me? So a good right-hand peek would be something like this. You know? Where you're able to jump and do the reset if you do it right. Right? A good right-hand peek. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I have actually died to 2 bad right-hand peeks. So one of those I actually did this and died immediately when popping a window, when obviously what you should be doing is being behind the window. And really, if you're going to pop an edit, just kind of hold the wall, honestly. All situationally dependent. Okay, so that's number 1. What else do I have here? Don't trap or shoot the patter. So I'm up here, I'm on height. Let's just say that I'm on height right now. And I'm up here having a blast. There's a guy flying through the air. Where we're shooting, we're not shooting, we're just kind of watching. So basically what I was doing is probably looking down off of height and picking. I noticed there was a patter, and so I'm just kind of going and going and going. And what I didn't do was keep in mind that there's a player that is flying above me and is going to land on me. So what most likely happened is this guy landed on me, and he landed on my tile. And I tried to panic build and stuff. He probably phased through my ramp, and he's here with me, and I've got my wall out, and I'm jumping and shit, and he's jumping with me, and he probably just killed me. So in that moment, when I died, I wrote down, without any emotion at all, didn't trap or shoot the patter. That's what killed me. I didn't trap or shoot him, because what I could have done, really, is something pretty creative, which is, as he lands, if he's going to land on my tile, I could do, potentially put either a ramp, edit it, and then box him in with me, and then do that, or that, right? Or I could have just put the trap down below me, and then just trapped him under my ramp, which would have been probably more ideal. Something like this. He's getting ready to land, you just do this if he's right on your tile. And then he dies, right? Or he tries to break out, you hold the floor, you edit, you make a play, you re-edit, you do whatever you gotta do. So essentially it's just being aware of where I am in the game. So when I look at these notes, what I think is I'm not being mindful enough of where my player's position is, my character's position is in the game. So I need to be more mindful of where I'm going, being very careful about where I'm exposing myself and where other players are in relation to me. And this is something that you can only really get if you analyze after the fact and are able to kind of process the death, process the mistake. Because in the moment, if you go, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I'll do this instead next time, and you move on, you haven't had enough time to really let that sink in. You should probably be in a creative like we are in right now, thinking deeply about why we did that mistake, why we did what we did, why the result happened, and what we can do next time to change that result. So what I'm going to be working on now is just getting in here, making the proper peaks in a box, and doing this over and over again. And if I miss, I keep going. If I need to slow it down, I'll slow it down. And that wasn't good right there. Because as you can see, I was crouched, and then that means I had to uncrouch, which was exposing myself, and then jump. So if you're going to be crouching, I recommend crouching in this corner and then uncrouching. But really, crouch is not always ideal. It's good to get into position, but it's not good to just be sitting down here in a crouch, because it takes 2 key presses to do a jump out of a crouch. If you have crouch, if you have scroll wheel bound to mouse, actually to mouse wheel, it could be good, because you could just go like that. Mine is up scroll wheel. And I also have spacebar. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Cool. Learn something new every day. So, yeah, that's sort of a good, real in-game example of how this is going to benefit us. Not only from a mentality aspect, where we're just, not from just a mentality aspect where we're sort of, removing ourselves from the situation physically, looking at things objectively, getting our mind state correct, and not tilting. Not only are we doing that, now we're even going one step further, and we're going beyond the game. We're going beyond that day even. This is 5 days ago, you have to remember. So 5 days ago, I had these experiences, and I can still remember what happened when that guy landed on me and I didn't trap or shoot him. I can remember that. And it's only because I had that written down. So now I'm able to go back, and like we just did, go through the process of, okay, let me analyze these patterns here. What are my patterns of behavior, right? We can actually continue to look. Let's say we go back here. So the day before. Died to a 50-50, died to zombies, missed shot, missed edit, didn't cover all angles, didn't look for right-hand shoulder peek. So really, what it's coming down to is just being hasty and not being aware of where I am. And I can look at my notes from days and days and days and just look back over and over again, probably even to a month back, and notice, oh, I died to an edit play. Oh, I died to not doing a right-hand peek. Oh, I died to not being aware of where this player was and not covering my angles. Really what it comes down to is I'm not in games fully aware of where I am in relation to the players around me, and that is ideal. Not only is it ideal, it's almost mandatory if you want to be playing at a high level, because good players are going to be able to notice where players are. You can track people through builds. You have to be able to track people in end games. You have to know when it's safe to do this versus doing this. You know what I mean? You have to know when it's okay to conserve mats and when it's appropriate to spend mats. There are so many factors that play into this in terms of being aware of your position in an end game. So yeah, just before I start rambling too much, as long as you've been writing down the cause of your elimination whenever you lose in Fortnite, go back a day or two later whenever you have some free time. It only takes about 10 minutes, right? Really, maybe 10 to 20 minutes of full creative. We've only been in this one for 8 minutes. You look back, analyze your mistakes, recognize the patterns in your behavior. You have to look deeper than surface level. So just saying miss an edit, miss a shot, miss it, oh, I need to practice edits and I need to practice shots. Try and go one layer deeper and really uncover what that behavior is that you're trying to disrupt. So for me, it's not being aware of where I am on the grid and in the game. I'm not aware of where my angles are. I could be like this, right? And I'm not aware that there's a player who's right here who can see me, right? And it seems like basic shit like that, right? Or maybe I have a window open and I'm doing this, and it's just little things where it's like, okay, maybe it's not the editing I need to work on. Maybe it's not grinding edits and grinding positions. Maybe what it really is I need to make sure that I'm aware of where the players are around me. So that's sort of where I've come to, the realization I've come to today. And I'm doing this without, I just sat down and started doing this. So this isn't like manufactured in any way. This is just the process that I go through and my thought process of troubleshooting how I need to be adapting my gameplay to fit the needs of the meta. And yeah, just keep this in mind as you're moving forward. Focus more on the behaviors rather than the real nitty-gritty specifics, like, oh yeah, I made this edit and I could have done it a quarter of a second faster and I missed my opportunity to go out and take the shot. It's like, that's a little bit too specific. I would think more globally. Okay, so I'm gonna cut my ramble there. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking, I'm gonna say one more thing. A viewer today in the stream mentioned a really nice retake that I have never bothered to learn because I don't really follow too many people's content anymore on YouTube, regrettably. And it's just the sway retake. So if you're not doing it, I recommend doing it. I have heard that Bugga is now doing this as one of his primary retake forms. And I was speaking a bit on how you really only need 1 or 2 retakes that are solid and work to be able to comfortably do 1 attempt at a high ground retake. If you get stuffed or if you fumble, box up and play low or mid, right? We don't want to burn a bunch of mats. This isn't a 1v1, a creative 1v1 with infinite mats, right? This is reality. So I just thought it was pretty cool to do this double edit here. And I mean, this is something that is totally commonplace, but this is something that I'm going to be practicing and integrating with my Kosh cones, which is another great idea. You know, I can take this opportunity to practice doing that, maybe do a little variation out of it, right? Where I can then go here, and if I didn't lag, if I wasn't at 70 ping. So yeah, man. Wanted to keep that in mind. If you're worried about doing retakes, if you're worried about what kind of retake you need to be doing, just master a couple that tend to work for you, and understand how those flow together. It kind of ties back into the video I posted yesterday, last night, which is sort of get into creative and just understand how the grid works and understand how one sequence can tie into another sequence. So yeah, just to give one more summary. Number 1, write down how you died. Number 2, think globally about not only why you died, but relate it to the patterns in your behavior, relate it to what the real underlying issue is in your thinking patterns, and try and analyze it, and then keep that in the forefront of your mind while you're practicing the correction of these mistakes by yourself in a creative, spend about 15 or 20 minutes. And then number 3, with your retakes, try and only select 1 or 2 solid retakes that you can drill and practice. If you don't have a lot of time, if you have plenty of time, I mean, whatever, do you. In my opinion, 1 to 2 retakes is ideal. Get them dialed in, understand how you can do them from any position. I'm talking on a ramp in a box, on a cone in a box, underneath a cone on an enemy's, you know, somebody cones over your ramp. Know how to do the retake out of that. Just always be ready for the things that you cannot really prepare for, right? Prepare for the unpredictable, so that way you're ready in a tournament setting to be kind of caught off guard and be like, oh, wait a minute, I've practiced this. I trust my muscle memory. I'm going to keep calm. I'm going to keep collected. I'm going to do my retake. And if it doesn't work, I'm just going to play mid. So keep these things in mind as you're moving forward today and probably for the rest of the week. Try and build it into your routine so that way it becomes habit, so that way you're not just writing things down and then not doing anything with this information. Because although it is really good to not tilt, to take yourself away from Fortnite, separate yourself emotionally from the situation, write down the facts, it's just as important to go back later, review, be thoughtful, so that way we can actually do some serious improvement. And you'll notice that the improvement will come fast and it'll come really heavy. I mean, you're going to improve a lot, and it's going to be tough on your mind. You're going to be it's actually pretty fatiguing to do this if you're not used to it. So trust the process, keep doing the work. It's going to pay off. Trust me. Thanks so much for the video. Thank you so much for the comments. I love being able to do this every day and hear some awesome feedback from you guys. I love speaking to the clients that I have that I'm doing coaching for and getting to build relationships and know them. So if you have any question at all, if you want to say hey or what's up, feel free to comment, DM me on whatever social. I'll respond or do my best to respond as soon as possible. And if not, then I will see you tomorrow for my next video. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.